Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
Alissa, have you ever been walking and you look down and you see something shiny and you're like, oh, treasure! Maybe it's a diamond. Maybe it's a necklace. Some long lost doubloons. And you go to pick it up and it's a shiny dime. And you hold that dime up in the air and you say, thanks, Grandma. And then Grandma's ghost comes down and she whispers in your ear. She goes, go buy yourself something sweet, darling. Because she's old and she still thinks you can get a candy bar for 10 cents.
She thinks it's 1918.
Yeah, that's Grandma.
That actually happened to me just yesterday. It's so weird that I was going to tell you that story. A dime, and then Grandma's ghost appeared in me. Full vision was like, go buy yourself a Charleston Chew. And I was like, on it, Grams. Thanks. And I ran on down to the 5 and dime, and I bought a Charleston Chew. Did you say gross?
Charleston Chews? They're
delicious.
Adequate at best.
I walked by a Charleston Chew yesterday, day before at the grocery store, and I wished I was like, fuck yeah, I could go for a Charleston Chew.
What are your thoughts on those little square ones? I think they're called honeybees. And they basically like stick your teeth together and
they're
they can never
grossest. They don't even make it to my teeth because the moment they touch my tongue, I'm gagging and spitting it out.
Isn't that what the Charleston Chew tastes like?
No. You're talking about like the Bit-O honey.
Bit-O honey, that's what it is.
Throw those in the pile of candy corn and shove it all in the in the garbage. The ground, the garbage, I don't care what you do with it.
What's a Charleston Chew then?
A Charleston Chew is a candy bar in a bright yellow wrapper with blue font.
I see it.
Okay, with a white nougat center with a chocolate coating. But like a chocolate coating that you can scrape off with your teeth and then just be left with the nougaty center. It's also very good frozen. It's like a vanilla taffy nougat.
You know, you're just solidifying that you are an old lady by describing this Charleston Chew right now. Put it in the freezer and watch you do.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of chocolate. I have to freeze. I freeze like all chocolate bars. That's the only way I will eat chocolate. The moment it melts, it's ruined for me.
Oh, I
don't like it.
Chocolate.
But Charleston Chews, there's something about it's like the chocolate on the outside. It's almost like the ho-ho, the outside. I think it's probably all chemical. It's like 2% cocoa, 98% wax of some sort. And it's amazing. Hey, Britt.
Yeah.
Do we just talk about old lady candy?
I wish to God we talked about old lady candy on every episode, but this is the first.
Very enjoyable. May have to weave it in all the time. New podcast.
But this podcast, we talk about true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Hey, Britt.
Yeah.
This week, do you know what we're talking about on the podcast?
I do. What are we talking about?
We're talking about treasure. Haunted or not, buried, lost treasure. I don't know what you have. I know what I have.
Oh, I'm a treasure fanatic. I didn't realize how much I was until you brought up this topic as an option, and I was like, yes. I've been fascinated since I was a kid watching Indiana Jones.
Yes, very much so. I did not know that about you.
Well, we've talked about how I really want to get a metal detector. And like anytime I watch TikTok, I'm like, I always stay on the ones where they're like on the beach.
Really?
They found something and I have to watch them like dig in the sand. And oh my God, it's a diamond ring. They found it. I'm fascinated.
The reason that made me think of this theme was you made a TikTok where you found some buried treasure in your backyard.
Yeah, did you like it?
I loved it. It was super funny. It was like, it kept going and going. And I was like, wait, what is happening here? I enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, you should go over our TikTok. I think I also post it on Reels and Instagram. But I was wondering if you've seen the comments section. how
Oh no, I
angry it has made people. It's gotten more views than I think any video we've made. Because at first,
my gosh, really?
I was like, oh, that's a little long. I hope people watch that.
People do, because I watched the treasure
things because you made them wait for it. They wanted to see what the treasure was.
Exactly.
And they were not happy. I will tell you, they were very disappointed with the results.
The comments? I haven't looked at them.
I think someone told us to die. One, that was the worst. The second one was, just fake.
A little teaser, but really you should go watch the video. I buried layer upon layer of things, but the first thing I unearth is my Halloween skull display, which is clearly a plastic sculpture of like a skull. But what I say when I unearth it from the dirt, I say, a real skull. And I think that probably made everybody real pissed that it was for sure not a real skull.
Yeah, that is one of the most, that fake skull. That skull looks so fake. What a fake skull. That's faker than Kim K's butt. So fake, I wish TikTok had a dislike button.
Oh my God, we are winning really right now.
Faker than the old man across the street's femur. I don't even know
what that is.
People.
Oh my God. Oh, this is so good.
Faker than Milli Vanilli's lip sync. Whoops, a limp sync. Those are some good ones. I didn't even realize those were in there.
Man.
So well done.
Highlight of my day now.
Well done. I'm very pleased with that. Okay, so speaking of treasure, did you hear about the treasure of the Goonies? One-Eyed Willie's treasure?
I thought it was just a movie.
Oh, is it just a movie? I thought that was a documentary. The Goonies? The Goonies?
You thought the Goonies was a documentary?
I thought it was a documentary. No, that's not true?
I mean, I don't know a lot of facts, but pretty sure it's fake, right?
I don't know. Maybe we should go to Astoria sometime and check it out. Do you know where that was filmed? Do you know where it is?
I see where you're going with this. The Goonies. Okay. Alyssa's forcing me into this, but this is big news, actually. So the Goonies was filmed in Oregon.
It was.
And big announcement, I am uprooting from Texas and moving to Oregon, people. I am moving to the land of Goonies, where there's treasure to behold. Fact or fiction, not sure. But yes, we're moving up to the same time zone as Alissa. I'm very excited. I'm very sad to leave Texas, but also excited for the future of Oregon.
I am so excited, but I thought you told me that you were moving up here to search for the treasure of One-Eyed Willie.
Well, now
I thought that was the whole reason. What if that was, you're like, I got to go find that One-Eyed Willie. Like you're a die-hard treasure hunter. And that was your ultimate, the treasure.
That's so funny. You're mentioned in one of my stories today. I talk about several people who literally sell their homes and move to find this treasure. That
really?
I will tell you about. Yeah.
That's a perfect segue.
Okay. Have you heard of Fenn's Treasure before?
No, I haven't.
It is a modern day treasure hunting experience.
What? Fenn? Fenn's?
Fenn. Fenn's Treasure. So I first heard about Fenn's Treasure on a podcast, which I did not remember, but then I listened to another podcast called Stuff You Should Know About It. And then I also got dates and stuff from Wikipedia. So Forrest Fenn was born in 1930, and at a young age, he loved the outdoors, and he would go with his family, and it was a big part of his life. So after high school, he ended up joining the Air Force, and he did that for many years. After he left the Air Force, he ended up buying art and starting an art gallery, which was incredibly successful for him. He opened an art gallery in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In 1988, Fenn was diagnosed with cancer and given a prognosis that was likely terminal. Now, Fenn's dad had also been diagnosed with cancer some years ago, and his dad did not want the pain and suffering that comes with dying from cancer, so he decided to take a load of sleeping pills and took his own life. Now, Fenn is in the same boat given this terminal cancer diagnosis, and he decides that, like his dad, he is also going to take his life, but he's going to do it with a little bit more of a grandiose way. So he decides that he's going to find the most perfect spot out in nature. He's going to bring a treasure chest with him filled with gold and gemstones and other valuables. And then he's going to take these sleeping pills and die clutching this box of gold out in nature. Then leaving this treasure and his rotting body to be found by some other outdoor enthusiast.
Oh.
But the plan had one problem. He ended up recovering from the cancer.
Oh.
So, but he's already put so much time and thought into this treasure plan that he decides to follow through with it and hide this treasure up in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
And
I've heard of this, I think. I didn't know the
this?
name of it, but yes, I have heard of it, I'm pretty sure.
So in 2010, at the age of 80, he self-published a book called The Thrill of the Chase, and it's a collection of short stories from his life, and he describes a treasure chest, and he says that it contained gold nuggets, rare coins, jewelry, and gemstones. And he went on to write that he hid the chest in the mountains somewhere north of Santa Fe. Fenn said that the stories in the book included hints to the chest's location. And the poem that's found the poem in the book has a map of the Rocky Mountains and clues to where the searchers can find this chest. It says that the chest is estimated to be valued at as high as $2 million. And this is a self-published book, but eventually word got out pretty quickly about this man in Santa Fe who had buried treasure and had left clues in this book. So people started buying the book and getting interested in this treasure. Over the next 10 years, it is said that somewhere around 300,000 people attempted to find this treasure. Several people quit their jobs and moved to Colorado or moved to New Mexico to dedicate their life to finding the treasure. In this time, 5 people died in an attempt to find this treasure. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the people who died, because it's me. So in January of 2016, Randy Ballou, I think that's how you say it, and his dog Leo set off to search for the treasure in the Rio Grande, northwest of Santa Fe. Ballou was gone for 10 days before he was reported missing. Searchers found Leo's body, but didn't find Randy's body until 6 months later. So they found the dog, but then didn't find Randy for 6 months later. In June 2017, Jeff Murphy was searching in Yellowstone National Park when he slipped and fell off a cliff. Just a week later, a Colorado pastor named Paris Wallace attempted to cross the Rio Grande near the Taos Junction Bridge and drowned. Ugh. Now, at this point, the Forest Service is like, Fenn, dude, please call off this treasure hunt. Like, we don't want people to die. Also, there's people who are like in these national forests, like uprooting shit and digging things up that really shouldn't be. But Fenn is quoted as saying, "Life is too short to wear both a belt and suspenders. If someone drowns in a swimming pool, we shouldn't drain the pool. We should teach people to swim." And he reminds everyone that he buried this 40-pound treasure when he was 80 years old. So it's not going to be on a cliff's edge or in like the rapids, people.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere easy to get to. I think literally the same week or the week later that Fenn made this announcement in 2017, Eric Ashby, who had moved from Tennessee to Colorado to hunt the treasure, drowned in the Arkansas River outside Canyon City, Colorado. In March 2020, Mike Sexton and his friend Steve Enlow went searching near Dinosaur National Monument. Mike had searched the area nearly a dozen times before and wanted to go out one more time before the COVID-19 lockdown. While there, they ran out of supplies and couldn't get cell service for help. Enlow survived by drinking his own urine, but Sexton succumbed to hypothermia and his body was airlifted off the mountain. Just 3 months later, in June of 2020, the treasure is finally found. It is found by a 32-year-old Michigan native and medical student named Jack Stoof. I think that's how you say it. So Jack Stoof finds the treasure, and he finds it legit. He had read the book. He went on all the forums. He listened to every single one of Fenn's interviews and was able to like connect the clues together. He had an English degree, I think, or some sort of knowledge of English, and was able to sort of like put the clues together and ended up finding it.
Are the short stories written in like Old English or something?
The main thing is this poem that Forrest Fenn wrote.
It's a poem.
The poem is filled with clues.
Got it.
It almost is like describes it to where it like gives anybody
I've
hope.
read the poem, actually. I have read the poem.
I thought about reading it on the air, but it's quite long, and I think it would bore everybody, considering we already know the treasure is found.
I've tried to find the treasure before.
Of course you did.
I didn't go out looking, but I read the poem enough to see if I could maybe figure it out a little bit.
Figure it out. So just a few months later, September of 2020, Forrest Fenn dies at the age of 90 in his Santa Fe home. The finder of the treasure, Jack, has decided to keep the location where he found the treasure a secret. The only thing that we know about the treasure is that it was found in Wyoming.
Oh, okay,
which is,
that's right.
As we know, a truly terrible state.
It really is.
Apparently has treasure.
Oh my God. I don't like Wyoming much.
It is the worst. Maybe that's why he was like, oh, no one will find it there.
Oh, wait, boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yellowstone is in Wyoming. Actually, Yellowstone's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm thinking of
just a bit, the parts that you have to drive through.
Yeah, just north of Colorado is mostly, I've made my impression of Wyoming just like 10 feet north of the border of Colorado. And I was like, not for me. Hate this state.
I've been stranded twice in Wyoming with ice storms.
Oh, really?
I am okay never to step foot.
I got pulled over in Wyoming for no reason. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it is a hole in the USA. Sorry,
a lot of nothing.
Wyoming.
And then beautiful Yellowstone. It does have Yellowstone. I hope it was buried in Yellowstone because someone died in Yellowstone slipping and falling. So I'm going to guess it probably did. So I have heard this story. I did not know the name of it was Fenn. I know that I think at one point as well, one of the clues was, yes, he reminded everyone he's an 80-year-old man when he buried it, but then he also went and checked on it at some point, and everyone, so they're like, oh, he was able to like at whatever age, 85 or something, go and check on it, verify that it was still there. And but why won't he tell people exactly where it is?
Oh, I love that
just because he's a dick.
Well, and he would, every interview, he would kind of slip up and like give little hints in every interview that he did. And that's how Jack put the pieces together. He's got his room with the strings on the wall, and he's like, oh, wait, he said this clue. Okay, it's not going to be there. It's going to be up here.
I'm not talking about Fenn. I'm talking about Jack. He knows where he found it and is not going to tell anyone.
No, he said when he was up there, it truly was a pristine, beautiful, not sure if I believe that, area. And so he says he doesn't want to tell people where it is because he's a nature lover. He doesn't want a lot of assholes to go up there and just taint it.
Fine. Okay. Valid point.
But a lot of people are pissed that, because like I said, like 300,000 people have attended. They're pissed that this young little 30-something medical student found it, and they, who had spent a decade looking, never found it.
I want him as my doctor. Sounds like a smart fella.
He dropped out of medical school.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he just didn't finish or something. But yeah, he decided to treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah. Now he's like a millionaire, and probably even more than that now. He's got a couple
I'm sure I'm sure in 2010 it was worth $2 million, but now $4 million at least.
I like the idea. He's like a doctor treasure hunter. Come on. Mm-hmm. Is he single?
With his stethoscope.
The stethoscope.
Dr. Jack.
That's what he uses instead of a metal detector. He's just got like a big ass stethoscope. He can hear the treasure. He listens. Oh my gosh. Okay, Fenn. I wasn't sure if you knew had been solved because I just heard Mitch is the one who told me about that originally. I did go in.
It has Mitch written all over it. He would have totally, if y'all still lived in Colorado, he would have totally been out there.
Oh yeah,
in the Rockies. Sure. Like, this is what we're doing this weekend, Alissa. We're finding this treasure.
I think I looked at like the clues. I even went into the forums. I read that thing. I thought I was not going to be on the right track when they found it in Wyoming. I was like, I was thinking it was more somewhere like southern Colorado, something about Brown or something, because he said there's some clue about Cleveland or Chicago or the Cleveland Browns or something like that.
Oh, yeah, something about Browns. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I didn't realize until I looked at the map, because, me, geography, the Rocky Mountains span 4 states. Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico. So this is like a lot of area to cover. So it doesn't surprise me that it took 10 years to find it.
Why did I think the Rocky Mountains skipped Wyoming? I don't think they could do that. Oh, Jackson Hole is one. Okay, Jackson Hole. I'm like, where are the mountains? Actually, there's parts you haven't gotten far enough north, I think, or west, apparently.
I think you're probably right.
Great story. Yeah, I want another one of those. Exciting. Like, it's solved. Ugh.
I know. I do have an unsolved one for you later. Cliffhanger.
I'm glad that we know it's solved, though, too. Like, it's solved, and it's finality. Definitely solved. Are we ready for my story?
So ready.
Okay, so my story is called The Buried Treasure in Cary, the ghostly legend of the abandoned high house. So I'm going to read this article, which is from WRAL, and this is by Heather Lee. And she says, the next time you drive down High House Road in Cary, take a look around. You may be driving past the legendary buried treasure of Fanning Jones. In fact, that section of land stretching along High House Road has rumors of treasure, ghosts, and haunted woods that date back to the 1800s and possibly even older. The High House is believed to have been built in the 1760s, prior to the founding of the United States, by Tingle.
His name's Tingle?
No, it's not. But it's Tingnell. I don't know how to say this.
Can you just call him
Tingle? Tingle Jones. Okay. Good enough.
Perfect. I love it.
I will tell you for posterity, it's Tingnal.
That's Tingle.
Exactly. Yeah. Tingle Jones. The house itself is long gone, reportedly abandoned in the 1900s, and the exact location is not agreed upon, but modern-day historians have searched for its remnants. Many have also searched for the old family cemetery, which may provide a clue to where the house once stood, and thereby a clue to the general whereabouts of the legendary tract of land. Only recently was the family cemetery finally discovered, hiding and forgotten in a Cary neighborhood, with cemetery markers crumbling and overgrown. Somehow, despite the house and cemetery being abandoned for potentially around a century, the legend of the High House, its buried treasure, and the haunted woods surrounding it have survived. If only we could find it.
Ooh.
So there's some clues about where High House was. It was set back about 400 feet from the road with a few oaks in front. And that's according to Robert Hoke Williams, who passed down the oral history from his family who lived there in the 1800s. And it was called High House because it sat on top of a hill and it was the highest house around. And it was a...
Clever.
Yeah. 2-story frame, high ceilings, and full of balconies. According to Williams, it stood on the left side of High House Road, just west of Cary. And another history, someone describes it and says, there stands a desolate house with vacant windows and grinning rafters, a high 4-square old house dating from the Revolutionary time, but which has been deserted for many years. And that was from the history of Wake County, North Carolina. But the exact location is never mentioned. We know just some landmarks. So suburban sprawl and changing road names and new houses have just erased where this house ever was. Williams, the fellow who wrote it was near the Oaks, he visited the crumbling ruins of High House in 1930. And at that time, all that was left were big rocks used for the chimney and pillars of the house. The chimney, according to legend, marked the exact spot where Fanning Jones buried his treasure.
Ooh.
Okay, so the last time that chimney is noted is back in 1930.
Okay.
So Jones left Carolina around 1822, and sometime afterwards, Williams's ancestors moved into the home and began having dreams about hidden treasure in the midst. One night, a voice came to Leander Williams in a dream, whispering of a secret treasure in the fireplace. That very same night, a similar voice visited Williams's mother. The pair each rushed to the hearth upon waking, hoping to follow the instructions given by the dream voice. Eerily, the fireplace had been dug up and destroyed the very same night. It wasn't uncommon during the 1700s and 1800s for families to bury treasures on their lands, often hiding it from invading soldiers during a wartime. A similar legend of buried treasure exists in Raleigh, the tale of Poole's gold hidden deep in the woods around an old house. The treasure was never found, but Cary citizens shared a theory about what happened to the High House, saying perhaps greedy treasure hunters tore it apart throughout the decades, hoping to find the gold.
Oh, so it was gold. I was just curious, what was the treasure? Like, is it just a bag of gold, or we don't know?
I guess so. I don't know. I don't think it describes it exactly. Or if it was like just coins, it just been money, but money back in that day was coins.
I like the idea of getting a premonition while dreaming of being like, the treasure is buried here, Alissa.
Yeah,
Go
right?
now.
And everyone knows, they're like, the treasure, like it's a race because someone is trying to steal the treasure. And this ghost is like, yo, someone's trying to get my treasure. It's there. Go, race to it. But didn't happen. It said Leander moved away, but why would he leave his treasure in the chimney? It doesn't explain that.
Yeah.
Also,
and then they said they woke up and they were like, "Oh, the treasure's in the fireplace," but it had already been dug up. So did somebody already?
Well,
get
that
it?
same night. So is there a ghost in there saying, "Shit, someone's going after my treasure"?
Someone's
and he's
taking
like
it. Someone's
waking
taking
everyone up. He's like, "Hey,
Yes.
hey, like I need it in the house or something." But it didn't work. They were too late. So as far as them finding the cemetery, I was kind of curious about that because it was like, oh, it's not far from the cemetery. And then you also think, well, I can find this. They can't find this. I can find this. I'm going to go on Google Maps and find. No, it's like literally like just a neighborhood and there's roads and grids. And it's like, no, you can't just like, you have to be digging in people's
suburbia
yards.
House is sitting on top of a pile of gold and they don't even know
Don't even know it, right? And then the cemetery. So I'm thinking, oh, someone like they were excavating and they found the cemetery here where, no, the cemetery was like just gated off. It was like, there's like a fence around it. Like it was just built into a neighborhood like built itself around there, which reminds me, Parker, Colorado, when we lived out there, way down south. I lived there like right when I first moved out to Colorado. And there was a fucking Home Depot, maybe a Costco, for sure, a strip mall development, like box stores, Cold Stone Creamery or something. And in the parking lot of this Costco, in the parking lot was a fucking cemetery. It was like a homestead cemetery. It was gated off.
Like an old-timey antique headstones.
Yes. Like a home. I am not shitting you. And I totally forgot about it. It disturbed me then. It just like, it's real. Like, you won't believe me, but I swear to God, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's like a plot of land.
Be an employee at that Cold Stone Creamery and not see ghosts on the regular. Right?
I mean, angry ghosts too, probably.
Oh, they've got like Home Depot orange shopping carts going into the cemetery, crashing into the gates. That is
oh yeah.
But here's the thing: is that better, or is just paving over it with a parking lot better? Like, that's better than making it a parking lot, right?
Do we? Does this have to be a choice? Like,
does a Home Depot have to go there?
No, that's my question. It is literally like a square. It is paved on all four sides, and then it is a plot of like grass and graves in the middle of a fucking Home Depot parking lot. It is the most.
You park your car next to some gravestones.
There's like, essentially, I'd have to look at a map. Wow. But yes.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's something.
Yeah. So this one was just like a forgotten. They're like, oh, I wonder if that I don't know how it was lost. It doesn't seem like it was very lost. Regardless, that's the story of the treasure of High House of Cary, North Carolina. And then just word on the street says, like, some people think it burnt down. They remember it burning down. But even before that, like, most people agree that it was torn like limb for limb by treasure hunters because of this legend, this rumor.
My guess is some hoodlum came at that night when the people had the dream and they got that treasure right then. And then the ghost had come to them and was like,
okay, my theory now off the top of my head, Fenn, or what was his name? His name wasn't Fenn as well. Whatever his name was. He left. He moved away and then was like, fuck, I forgot my treasure. Okay. But like either he like got out of there because he had like murdered somebody or done something bad. And that was a ghost that woke everyone up. Like, or he had stolen someone's money and hid it. And that was the treasure, and remembered and came back. And the ghost of person that he stole it from was the one who was waking him up or something.
I'm down with that one too.
Yeah. I feel like he was like, oh shit, that's where I put that bag of gold in the fireplace. Anyway,
damn it.
Don't you should.
What?
You should leave some treasure when you leave. A bag of ladybugs, dead ladybugs.
That was reminding me of a story Kendall told me of when she was moving apartments. She was like, my grandmother's ring that I inherited, I put it somewhere and I can't remember. It may have been in the Jenga box that I donated. And she was so worried. And then she texted later, oh no, it was fine. I had put it in between the pages of this book. And I was like, stop putting your valuable jewelry
I thought it was going to be a place where it made more sense than a Jenga box. I'm like, why would you store your grandmother's antique ring in a Jenga box?
Well, because a robber's not going to look in a Jenga box for a ring. I think she is wizened her ways now. I'll have to check, but I don't think she hides them in places that or things she can donate.
God. Well, and she's like a baker. She should just wear it, but she probably doesn't wear any rings and stuff.
Oh yeah, someone's gonna end up with a croissant and be like, treasure.
Yeah, crunch. Ring. That was worth that tooth. Worth it.
Okay, speaking of finding amazing valuable things.
Okay.
This story I'm gonna tell you is called The Saddle Ridge Hoard. So I did an online search, and I searched famous treasure findings.
Okay.
And 90% of them were places in Europe where it was like a farmer digging or somebody. Oh, one of my favorites, a farmer lost his hammer. So he asked to borrow a metal detector. Beep, beep, beep. a whole wad of like ancient gold.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's all over the place in Europe.
I bet he bought so many hammers.
So many hammers. But yeah, so they're just anywhere over in Europe. They're just in fields laying around for anybody to go and just find over there. Because there's just old gold everywhere. Speaking of gold, though, California. Not in Europe at all. Because this happens in Northern California in 2013. A couple is walking their dog on their rural property. Something catches their eye. Bing, ding, ding. It was a rusty can sitting in the dirt. Have you heard of this story?
I only went researching this, but I loved it, and I didn't take it because it wasn't haunted.
So
Spoiler.
They see this rusty can because they're like Alissa and I, and they're like, maybe it's more than just a rusty can. And
I don't think I would.
Right.
I'd be like, no, there's like a child's arm in here. I don't think I wouldn't explore a rusty can.
I would have, especially if it was like, oh, maybe this could be vintage.
No, I'm like, this is like ashes. This is something I don't want to know what's inside
ashes.
of it. Probably.
Well, they unearth this rusty old can, and inside they find gold coins. They end up using a metal detector and unearth 8 rusted cans filled with 1,427 gold coins that are all dated between 1847 and 1894. And then the couple noticed an old can hanging from a tree and an odd-shaped rock on a nearby hillside. These 2 markers pointed directly to the burial site of the cans. So the coins consisted of $20, $10, and $5 denominations. And when the couple contacted Kagins, what's Kagins?
How do you spell that?
Kagins.
No clue.
Oh, it tells us what it is. It is a I got this. Numismatics firm. What is a numismatics?
That's like the study of coins.
Okay.
Numismatology. I've read it. I can read things a lot better than I can say things.
Maybe I should have rewrote this and said they contacted a coin person in California.
Yeah, I think that's what that means.
And they learned that many of the coins were uncirculated or in mint condition. In fact, many of the coins were the finest specimens that they'd ever found of their kind. So there's a lot of widespread speculation that the hoard represented the discovery of the 1901 theft of $30,000 from the San Francisco Mint by an employee named Walter. But the Mint adamantly says, this is not linked to the same thing. We have a lot of people researching it, and trust us, if that money was the government property, we would have already gone after it. So they sort of debunked that idea. But there's some...
wait,
do you think
so
it was
someone could find a similar stash somewhere, and then the government would be like, oh, thank you for finding that for us. We've been looking for it for 100 years.
In 1901, this was stolen from us. Thanks for finding it.
Bullshit.
Cool. I'll take that. Yoink. But they didn't. They said it is not theirs. There's some other speculation. Some say it was maybe a gold buried by Jesse James or Black Bart, who robbed stagecoaches. But the most realistic theory that is out there is that it was most likely somebody who lived on the land and they didn't want the government touching their money or banks touching the money, so they just buried it in the ground for safekeeping. Now it says, while the couple who found the coins have remained anonymous and the location of the find is undisclosed, several individuals have attempted to claim the gold coins or a share of the profits, asserting that the money belonged to one of their relatives.
I don't think it works that way.
I don't think it does either. People just want that
I think
gold.
it's the rule of finders keepers, losers weepers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for generations or something. I don't know.
By the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, that's pretty
there
old.
should be like a date on it. Like, after this amount of time, it becomes the property owner.
So I had seen that, but I didn't know you found much more detail than I found.
Okay, so I got my information from interestingengineering.com and also Wikipedia again. Yes, I do donate a little bit of money to them every year because of their information. Thanks, Wikipedia.
That's why I didn't look at Wikipedia. There's probably more information on there than I found. I also saw that it was like stashed chronologically. Like the cans were like in order or something, and they just thought it was someone's bank. So someone was stashing like as it was minted or whatever. They went and cashed their check or something. They put it away in their cans. You know, they never had to dip into
Honestly,
those cans
that makes it makes more sense.
Yeah.
That it was somebody, an untrusting.
Did you tell us what it was worth?
I did not tell you what it was worth.
It was a fucking lot of money, if I recall. It was like a lot of money.
Why did I not write that bit about? Hold on.
And they were like finer samples than museums and shit had. It was like the mintest, like the guy literally got them fresh off the mint, put them in a can and buried them.
I do know. Oh, here we go. The coin's total value of, so the coin's total value was $27,980, but assessed to be worth $10 million.
Yes, like it was so much money that they found on their land.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And they're selling the coin literally coin by coin. Like I could go on right now and buy one of these coins that they're selling.
How much are they? Did you look? I kind of want one.
Okay.
For no good reason. I want one. I'm sure I can't afford one.
Let me tell you. Okay, here we go. You can get one for $187.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like $187,000. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, actually, for an uncirculated gold coin.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
I guess. I'm not a numinologist.
Oh, and then there's people selling books on tips for treasure hunting, just like the Saddle Ridge folks. Psh. Trying to make money.
Excellent find. Well done. I will now be poking around any can, everything. Nothing's off limits anymore for me. That just opened the door.
I went hiking one time when there was an insane drought in Austin, and the earth would just crumble under your feet. And hiking downtown, I ended up finding this trove of like old bottles from the 1800s that I don't know if like the earth had pushed them up or what. I'm fairly certain it was from like a garbage pit because it was just bottles and stuff. But I found some cool stuff there. Maybe if it hadn't been a garbage pit and like a gold pit, that would have been a much cooler story to tell.
No, it's a thing. Those bottles can be valuable too. I feel like we've mentioned this before. Those bottles can be valuable, and people dig up latrines. They dig up old like outhouses and stuff because that used to be like the family trash can. So, and then those bottles can be very valuable if they're whole or I think I saw something on TikTok about that. I'm on the outhouse digging TikTok, whereas you were on the latrine TikTok.
We are both members of the group Things Found in Walls. Is that the name of the group?
Yeah, I think so.
And honestly, it doesn't even have to be like a valuable treasure. I think finding something that is precious to another person is just really precious.
Bullshit.
Of like, what?
Disagree wholeheartedly. Give me the diamonds. Give me the rubies. Give me the emeralds. Give me those cans of
I'm
gold
not
coins.
going to be mad about some rubies.
You can find here. You want my old toilet bottle? That's
sure.
Okay. Well,
is
done.
It glass?
Yeah, I guess. I ruined it for you. I'm sorry. I do like the things you find in walls. I do. But it's also a lot of
You
like
should ruin-
porn magazines. Like that's not a treasure. I don't want to find some 1970s
I don't want an old
porn.
McDonald's cup. I don't care.
Or
about
yeah,
that.
like a 1982 Sprite bottle. Nah. Some people just really want to find something. They're like, this counts.
Okay. I don't want to find that.
No. I found a lot of trash. I found it, I'm pretty sure it's not a tampon wrapper. It's a maxi pad wrapper outside in my like front ditch that I went to pick up today. I was like, oh, trash. And I was like, you know what? No.
Not treasure.
No, it's not treasure.
Or even trash I'll pick up.
No, I was like, I will wait till I have gloves and I will throw it. But that was not mine. And I know it's not mine either.
Who's changing their maxi pad outside your
It's the trash. It's the garbage.
Like
it was garbage
wind.
day on Friday, so I think it must have blown. It's one of my neighbors. Maybe I should post down next door. Be like, I found this. Is anyone missing this? Someone dropped this. I think. Let me know.
Mercy.
I only take public responses. Don't DM me, please. Make it known. Okay, so my next story is from the Oklahoman. Yeehaw. Okay. Y'all, and maybe you can help me with pronunciation here. It's written by Mary Phillips, and it's The Archivist. I guess maybe she is the archivist. I don't know. A house, buried treasure, and oh yes, a ghost in Talequah. In the early 1800s, when banks were not often the safest place to keep your valuables, some citizens buried their wealth. There are tales of buried treasure near Talequah in Cherokee County. The Oklahoman from November 30th, 1907, tells a story of lost gold, a house with a history, and a ghost. A house was built by Henry Woods on land located about 2 miles southeast of Talequah. William P. Ross, the first editor of the Cherokee Advocate newspaper and a respected leader of the Cherokee Nation, purchased the farm known as the Old Woods Place. It was a combination structure of logs and frame with great wide stone chimneys at either end, the newspaper reported. According to Ross's autobiography, The Life and Times of William P. Ross, he sold the farm to his cousin John Hawkins. The Oklahoman continues the story. Hawkins was a moneymaker. He not only tilled his land well, but he was a trader and a stockman and accumulated money rapidly. At that time, there were no banks and many outlaws. Hawkins, as did all other wealthy men at that time, kept lots of money in his house and was in constant danger of being robbed by bands of thieves and marauders that infested the country from the Kansas line to the Red River. So he took $10,000 in gold, put it in a metal vessel, and sealed it up. This he secretly buried somewhere near his house, no member of his family knowing the spot.
$10,000 in the, what did you say, like 1901 or something?
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Well, okay, it was written in 1907, so this had happened previous to this, I think.
That's got to be like $1 million,
yeah,
right?
I mean, he said he was a moneymaker and he had a lot of money in his house, like lots of money.
Oh, dang. Okay, so he's buried essentially $2 million somewhere on his property.
That sounds about right. I have no clue. Unfortunately, he became ill and he died with his secret upon his lips. This was nearly 50 years ago, and the story of the buried treasure has been told to generation after generation, and there has been lots of digging over the old place to locate the treasure, but it has never been reported. And the ghost? For many years after the death of Hawkins, a close personal friend who lived in the house with him averred that many times he had seen in the night a form that resembled that of Hawkins. It would appear and walk back and forth over the yard, stopping now and then as if searching for something and then disappearing. Finally, the apparition ceased its visits, and no one has claimed to have seen it for 30 years, the paper reported. So remember, this is in 1907 it's written. So this happened. He died 50 years previous to that. So in the 1850s in Oklahoma is when this occurred. And no one has seen the ghost since like 1880.
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are many places in the Cherokee Nation that there is said to be buried gold. It was a common practice in the early days before banks were established to keep money buried to keep it safe from robbers. I feel like I already said this in this article. Okay, The house was a landmark until it burned shortly after the 1907 story was written. The gold remains buried. More tangible treasures can be found in the rich history of the Cherokees and the historic town of Talequah, capital of the Cherokee Nation and United Ketowa Band of Cherokee Indians, and the oldest municipality, founded in 1843 in Oklahoma.
Fascinating. This makes me really wish I had that metal detector already, because I go visit my grandmother who lives up in Oklahoma fairly regularly.
Well, but would you even, it's not federal land though. If it's Cherokee Nation, I don't know if you could go digging in the reservation, right?
But they did say in the article that it was kind of commonplace for most rich folk to bury their, Oh yeah,
wealth. Just during that time. Like like anywhere that you end up living, if you live in any place that was around in the 1830s, 1840s.
Yes. Could be
a chance.
A can somewhere with your name on it.
I've heard
filled with gold.
Stone walls, like on the East Coast, are a common place to find treasure and stuff, like within the stone walls. So yeah, and the ghost is searching for it. Do you think the ghost disappeared because someone found it?
Ooh, could be. But I'll tell you, if it sounds like this fella was pretty obsessed with his money, making sure no hoodlums got their hands on it. So he buried it and and then died suddenly, that of course his ghost is going to be obsessed with it and wanting to, like, the treasure.
True.
Obsessed with it.
$10,000 back in 1850. Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's got to be in the millions in coins. Yes. It's got to be in the millions.
Yes.
That's a pretty nice jackpot there.
Like, you could live off of 10 cents a week back then. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
And it says he was like the head of the Cherokee Nation. So this was a Native American fellow making a lot of money in, like,
back in that time. That is a rare thing.
Hey, Britt, we each had a lot of stories, I think, tonight. Do you have one more that you want to tell? But I
have a really short, sweet one.
Okay, cool.
Wait, how many did you tell? 2 or 3?
Yeah, but we also went on about candy for like a half hour at the beginning of this episode. No regrets.
This is why we don't record at night anymore.
I know. It's messy. You go, because
I'm going to go real fast.
Okay.
This one is called The Dead Bishop's Treasure. And I got this information from Live Science. Now, transport yourself in time back to 1357.
Oh, dang.
There's a ship called the São Vincent, and it set sail from Portugal to France, carrying treasures acquired by Thibaud de Castillon, the Bishop of Lisbon, who had recently died. They were delivering this treasure to the Pope. The treasure included gold, silver, rings, tapestry, jewels, fine plates, and even portable altars. While sailing near the town of Cartagena, that sounds better. Cartagena, in modern-day Spain, the São Vincent was attacked by 2 heavily armed pirate vessels whose crews seized the treasure. One pirate ship commanded by a man named Antonio Botafoc, which, in the languages used at the time in Iberia, means Firefart.
That's exactly what I'd expect that to mean.
Botafoc. Anyways, Firefart was captured after it ran aground. However, the other pirate ship, commanded by Martin Yanes, appeared to have made a clean getaway. You're laughing. It's making me laugh.
I'm sorry. I'm really hung up on Firefart. Like, and all that. Oh my God. My cheeks.
Okay. So 2 pirates get the wealth, go away. Firefart gets captured. Martin Yanes escapes. What happened to Yanes and his pirate crew and the stolen treasure is still unknown. Now, it was said that this dead bishop did not acquire his wealth in the most moral of ways, which, as we know from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, is pretty standard for the times.
Yeah, another documentary.
So I'm actually with Team Pirate on this one, and I'm like, you know what? Take that gold.
For sure. But then also, I feel like a portable altar is a very disappointing treasure to find. If I found a portable, is it gold? Is it like carved of gold?
You know what? This one is gold encrusted, and it has like maybe a Leonardo da Vinci painting on it. I don't know. It's got to be pretty valuable, right?
And they think it's buried on land somewhere? Buried?
Not buried.
It sank.
Well, okay,
I heard was Firefart. I didn't hear anything else. Something about pirates and Firefart. There was a bishop and a portable altar.
The Sal Vincent, which is the basically the dead bishop's boat.
Okay.
The pirates attack it. It does sink.
Okay.
And having read a little bit more, they do go and actually look into the boat to go underwater to find, and all that's left are books. So clearly it's been thrashed.
Looted.
Like they've taken every stitch of valuable things from the ship.
The crew of the Firefart?
There's two pirates that I believe two pirate ships.
Okay.
One led by Firefart and one led by Martin Yanes. Firefart gets captured and ends up bribing his way out of prison, by the way, probably with the stolen loot.
A portable altar. You brought it with him.
He's like, hey, you know what would go great with that outfit? This portable altar. And then Yanes escapes with his crew, and they're never found again. So I'm imagining an island somewhere off of Spain filled with buried treasure and altars and stuff.
Okay. So they don't think it's been dispersed and spent. They think it's all in one hideout.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
That's just my theory.
All right. Well, thank you for re-explaining that to me, because every time you said Firefart, it was lights off in my brain. Everything. Didn't hear anything else.
Well, I just love that the article made a point.
I mean, it's...
There are people. They know what we need to know. The facts.
Britt.
Yes.
Great stories tonight.
Yes.
We're just out of time.
Okay. I know we usually talk about paranormal ghosty stuff, but I really love doing just strange, unusual things too.
I know. This was really fun.
Shook it up a little bit. Okay, listen, people. I know you have found some cool stuff out there. And Alissa and I really want to know, even if it's just cool to you, genuinely, we want to know about it. So you can write us and tell us all about it at our email,
skeletalespodcast@gmail.com, or you can call in and tell us about it on our hotline, and that number is
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. We are on all the social medias, which is even better because you can post a picture in our group and then tell us all about it there. Yes, and you can DM us over there. You can find our link tree on Instagram and find us everywhere.
We're all the places. I have one more genuine thing. I'm not fucking with you. I swear to God. I have something genuine. I need to tell you now. Can we have a cringe corner?
Oh,
let's just keep these going. Today in Cringe Corner, I told you earlier, I went to this neighborhood cleanup thing. We were all trying to get the clubhouse in shape for the summer and the pool and whatnot. And my friend was there. And a few of my friends were there, but one of my friends was there, and he was like, hey, Alissa, is this sign straight? There was a sign with all these rules. He's asking me if they're straight. And I was like, okay, yeah, up a little, I'm the wrong I'm going to get a fucking level out. I was like, nope, a little up, a little down, a little up. Okay. And then he got it perfect. And he starts kind of trying to hold the poster on the wall and screw it in. I was like, oh, hey, Ryan, do you need a hand? And then I remembered Ryan only has one arm. I own it. I'm like, that is exactly something I would say. I am.
That is the most cringe-worthy corner you could ever
Cringe corner.
experience.
Ryan's a real good sport. He.
Oh, Alissa, did you just fall on the ground and start shaking your head? No.
I will say, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, yeah. And he really enjoyed the moment. He just... And I was like, I bet you do. You probably do need that hand, don't you? He's like, yeah, actually.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's, that's bad, girl. That's bad.
I'm not the
you
first.
Know what? That's a beautiful way to end the show tonight. Like, my cheeks hurt real bad right now. That's amazing.
Pretty enjoyable. So, anyway, do you have anything else you need to
Yep, just one last thing.
Okay.
Real quick. Alissa.
Yeah.
Haunt y'all later.
Haunt you later. Good night.
Good night.